guys, Dan the RBRT Guy back with you again. Thanks for coming back to the channel. So guys, as the title of this video suggests, I'm going to get a mulligan. I'm going back out to the project car because a fella named Kenny wrote in on last week's video and left me a great comment. It says that I didn't grind the head down all the way on that bolt, and when I tried the socket on the DeWalt, I didn't engage it all the way to the back of the bolt. I did hammer that extractor on all the way, however, and he thinks that there were some ways I could have done a better job at demoing it. So after reading Kenny's comments, and I went back and had another look, he's absolutely right. I could have totally done a better job at doing that demonstration. So I'm going to get my mulligan today. We're going to go back on out to the project car, back out to the shop, and I'm going to do things a little bit different this time. Come on, let's get after it. Okay guys, back out here at the project car, and as you can see from the grind marks on the wheel, this is the same wheel I was working on in the last video. Now, it was kind of tough to get into that and grind that lug nut with it on the car, so what we're going to do this time is we're going to go ahead, grab the impact gun, and take out this lug nut. Now let's head on over to the bench grinder. Okay guys, we're at the bench grinder, let's fire it up. We got our safety glasses on, we're all ready to go. Let's round this thing out. Oh, she's getting good and round now, guys. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is that there are no more facets left on this. I mean, it's as round and all the way to the shoulder, because that was one of the things that Kenny pointed out, that I didn't grind it all the way down to the shoulder or the end of the bolt, that there was still, ooh, it's kind of hot, that there was still some meat left on that bone. But as you can see now, I can hold that on there and I can let, well, I was getting it to do it before, I can let that wheel spin this bolt around in my fingers. I truly think that's about as round as I'm going to get it, and I don't see any facets left really on it. Now, it started out as a 17 millimeter. We're going to use a 16 millimeter socket extractor. So let's get a good close-up of that. I just want to give it a couple of more rounds just in case anybody's got anything. There we go. That's pretty good. So, yeah, that looks pretty rounded. Maybe a little bit more right there. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and tap on this socket extractor. And I think I'm going to let that cool down a little bit first before I do anything. I'm going to be right back with you. All right, guys, what I did was I went and ran that under a little cold water, so now I can actually handle it. It's not too hot. And I've brought the impact gun over with that 17 millimeter socket just to show that, you know what, there's no way that that's going to engage. That's as round as I could get it. So what I want to do now is I want to tap this down into the socket extractor and go on over to the project car, and we're going to torque it to specs. So that's my next move. Let's see if we can get this thing tapped down in there. All right, now it's tapped down in there, and as you can tell from the angle of the shot, it is engaged all the way. Let's go ahead on over to the project car, and we're going to go ahead and torque that down to specs. Let's go. All right, guys, we've got the socket extractor. We're going to go ahead and spin it back into the wheel. And for time's sake, I'll just go ahead and drive her home with an impact gun. All right, good and tight. Now I've got that 1/2-inch digital torque wrench, and if you can see it, I've actually got it set to 250 foot-pounds. How much of a test is 90 foot-pounds? Not so much, but 250 foot-pounds, let's torque it to that. So we've got her set at 250 foot-pounds. And you will see the lights and hear the buzzer as I start to torque down on this thing. Let's get her to 250. Look at that. All right. And we got her to 256.4 foot-pounds. Can you all see that? Look at that. That's pretty impressive. It's all about the grip, not the slip, guys. These socket extractors are no joke. Kenny, I hope that shows you that, you know, I don't try to put anything over on anybody. I try to make it as obvious and as awesome as I can. So let's get on back to the studio and finish this off the right way. Let's snap the head off that bolt. Come on. Okay, guys, back at the bench vise. As you can see, this is the 16mm socket extractor I used. You can see that it is indeed the lug stud that I took out of that VW. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to turn it over into the bench vise. And I'm going to use that really cool FOR extractor rod to remove it from this bolt real quick before I attempt to break it. What I want to do is I want to show you the engagement of the socket. Boom. And you can see how it just bit into this thing in 6 different points of contact. Right? And now some of you are saying, well, I just lost all my engagement by taking it out of the socket. That's true. You know what? I'm going to show you just how amazing the grip is on these sockets. Once you get them engaged, once you bang them down, we'll just hammer it back on, find the grooves, and one quick tap. That's all I'm going to do. One quick hit. Now we're going to use the dual drive setup. I've got a breaker bar here with a larger socket, so I'm going to go ahead and get it from the outside, which is a really great design. Let's make sure that we've snugged this down really well so she doesn't spin in the vise. And I'm going to pull it. I don't have a whole lot of room in here, but I'll get more power on it like the last video if I pull on it. So let's see what we can do. You know what? I'm willing to bet any amount of money that's not going to slip off of there and that I'll be able to snap the head off of that bolt. Let's get it done. Look at that. Boom, just like that. Zero slippage, none whatsoever. Even after complete, unengagement and then one tap to re-engagement, guys, that's what we're talking about here. That is the level of grip that we're talking about. And I will just now use the foreign object rod to just spin that right out of there. Look at how nice that works. Boom, just like that. And there it is. RBRT socket extractors. When you need something to bite down to take it off, and don't forget, guys, left or right, forward or reverse, it doesn't matter. Once these things are locked in, they are locked in tight. And I keep saying it, it's all about the grip. They've only got one job, guys, that's to bite. Our RBRT socket extractors does it better than anybody. That's the video for this week. Do me a favor, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Guys, I really enjoyed the fact that Kenny called me out on that last video. If there's something you'd like to see me try or do, get a hold of me in the comment section. Leave me a comment. I'm Dan, the RBRT guy. We'll see you next time. Thanks very much.